Hey guys, how are you guys doing today? Thank you so much for joining. Today I'm going to be talking about how to have a good relationship. You know what? Hang on. Forgot I had my retainer in and it gave me a lisp. Now I don't have one. So, yeah, this was requested to me and I'm really excited to talk about it. I had a lot of fun researching this topic. So, I'm really excited to hear from you guys, your experiences, and what you think about the stuff I go over today. Um, Huge shout out to the YouTube channel Psych to Go. As you know, I have hella ADHD, and so having fun little videos that are animated to watch to teach me things is always a lot of fun and a great way for me to do research for my streams. And they had a lot of really good info on this. In addition to that, another one of my sources was um, Wikihow. They did several articles that I referenced on here. So in the YouTube channel, I'll be posting the sources in the chat or in the comments. Chad Zilch says hello. Hey Chad, how are you doing today? It's always good to hear from you, and thank you so much for joining today. I appreciate it. And V Falcon says sends the little working girl emoji. Was that an emoji meant to mean something else? No, the Velociraptor was for the ferrets. I forget if that was for something. But hey, VI Falcon, how are you doing tonight? Thank you, both of you guys, for joining today. And yeah, what do you think about the topic? Like I said, we're going to be talking about how to have a good relationship. Um, Also, real quick note, next week we're going to do one on how to have a good friendship because that was also requested. V Falcon says, I was just saying hi. It looks like she's waving hello. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see that. My focus went straight to the wrench, so I thought she was like working on something. Um, well, hello back. And Chad Zilch says, I'm doing well. Very glad to be finished up with inventory. Oh yeah, 'cause you got to be like loading stuff in and out of a truck all day. Well, the weather's been nice lately at least, right? So, at least you didn't have to sit out in the smoldering heat or freezing your toes off in the winter like normal. Uh, have you Was it nice out whenever you had to be out going in and outside all day? Um, I need to like enjoy the weather more. I've been using my Fitbit, keeping track of my health, my steps, and it's been good for my mental health. I feel like getting moving and getting outside. So if you guys have been experiencing the nice weather here, if you live in the same vicinity as me, in the same state, definitely go out and enjoy it. It feels good. Um, yeah. So. Um, it's important to know how to have a good relationship, and not just that. It's important to know if you're ready for one because you need to know, are you in a good headspace or what are your reasons for getting into a relationship. The biggest takeaways before we dive in are, don't expect a partner to make you happy. You have to learn how to have happiness within, and you share that happiness with someone who can do the same. When somebody says, "Oh, I'll be happy when I'm in a relationship," once I'm in a relationship, it's like you're going about it the wrong way. You're just going to end up hurting yourself uh, if you have this codependency where you need somebody else to feel happy. So that is one of the biggest takeaways for today. Um, Chad Zilch says it's lots of counting and organizing as well. But yeah, our next truck is Friday and the weather's supposed to be great. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad that you're gonna get, and plus you're getting your body moving too, which, like we said before in the burnout depression stream, getting moving and getting fresh air and getting some time in the sunlight is all really good for our mental health. So that's good. You kind of have an excuse to get out of the store for a bit and get to get moving. Um, and yeah, I'm glad that you don't have to do any more counting though, because math is not my strong suit. Heck yeah, I actually love truck days. Oh, good. I'm glad. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you enjoy your job, Chad. V Falcon, how about you? How are you doing today? Um, let's see. Uh, oh, another really important takeaway I wanted to share with you guys is, and I actually learned this from one of my Uber customers a couple months ago, and I really liked this because I had never heard this saying before, but it really resonated with me. It's that a relationship takes work, but it shouldn't feel like work. And that really resonated with me. I really liked that. It should be I don't know, what do you guys think of that? Um so the first topic that we're going to get into, as far as my sort of outline for tonight's stream, we're going to talk about, are you ready for a relationship? Are you compatible with the person you're seeing? And how to build a healthy relationship. VI Falcon says, doing great, got some dinner with me and I'm nomming. Oh, nice. What you got good tonight? Got some Dan noodles? Some Danny noodles? Chad Zilch says, "Yeah, I like that saying." Oh, I'm glad. Oh, my voice just cracked. I think my balls just dropped. It's like, I'm glad. um so yeah, did I just oh, I pushed something and now it says I just restarted being live. Did anything weird happen on your guys' end? I don't know if I just fudged something up. Well, anyway, I'm gonna move my keyboard out of the way so I don't bump it with my butterfingers. Yeah, you went offline for a sec. Oh, okay. We went down for a sec, but we're back. Okay. I'm gonna click out of the stream thing, so if I do accidentally hit a button, that doesn't happen again. Thanks for letting me know. So, signs that you're not ready for a relationship. A big one is selfishness. Now, do you put yourself before anyone else? I used to have this problem several years ago where I expected everybody to like save me and listen to my problems, but I never took the time to ask people how they were. And now I balance between friends being there for me and me being there for them. And I think this stream is a good example of that because I'm able to, you guys have definitely been there for me during the stream and been incredibly supportive, but I also like being able to help you guys. So, yeah, uh, it's you're always growing in life. And if you have any of these issues that I'm about to say, it doesn't mean that you can never work on them. It just takes time. Um Also, another sign that you're not ready for a relationship, I'm taking my hoodie off. This is very hot. Um is got my Slayer shirt on from I believe 1986. This was my dad's actually. He gave it to me. Um if you always think that you're right? If you have too much pride. Another toxic version of this is using quote unquote logical arguments and not listening to the person's feelings. Your feelings are always valid, but how do you project them? You know what I mean? A good way that I explained this to my friend because she was asking me if she was overreacting about something. And I said, let's take a McDonald's Karen for an example. Um, so say that Karen walks into a McDonald's and she buys her food and the clerk says, "Oh, it's going to be an extra 20 cents for your ketchup." Now, if Karen thinks to herself, "This is kind of annoying that I have to pay extra for ketchup, it should just come with it," you know, she's allowed to feel that way. But the second Karen starts clapping back into the employee's face, it's like, all right, you don't get to take your feelings out on other people. You can be upset about something or be disappointed about something, but you don't get to take it out on other people. And it doesn't mean you don't get to listen to somebody else's side. So, in terms of always needing to be right, that is a huge sign that you're not ready for a relationship if you take your feelings out on other people and you don't take the time to listen to how they're feeling. So what do you think? Do you guys ever feel like you take on those traits, or do you feel like you're pretty good at being selfless and not having to be right all the time, and have you guys heard of like the toxicity behind like the quote unquote logical argument behind versus listening to feelings? Let me know your thoughts on that. Um, Also, if you have a toxic codependency, um, I years ago, whenever I was younger, I used to expect a partner to make me happy. And that caused me to get with the wrong people because I was afraid of being alone or being made fun of for being alone. Because, like, when I was in high school, I would get made fun of for not having a boyfriend. So, a boyfriend when I was a teenager was more about having it was like an accessory, to quote Mean Girls, than it was about building a relationship with somebody. Um, you know, but I was journaling, um, and I got to a point where I thought to myself, now I'm not worried about finding a partner, not because I don't know not because I know I'll find one, but because I know I can be happy on my own. So that was a quote that I read in my journal a while back, and that I read while I was doing research for this, and it gave me a lot of comfort to read back on my thoughts and reflect on that. And what do you guys think? Like, have you ever depended on not just in a relationship, but have you ever depended on a sibling, a family, like a family member, a friend? Have you ever depended on somebody else to bring you happiness in your life? Do you feel like you create your own happiness? Um, you know, uh, just looking through my notes. But yeah, I learned to love spending time with myself, and I started spending more time with friends and my ferrets and my family, and getting happiness from a wide variety of positive relationships that I've cultivated, through the hard work that I've put into them. Regarding hypothetical McDonald's Karen, best thing she can do is find friends to vent to, and only if they have the emotional bandwidth for it, or meditate. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think it is worth taking into consideration, is this worth giving a fuck about? You know what I mean? Like, the meditation thing is really nice. Um, I know I was upset about something not too long ago, and I felt like venting about it wasn't helping anymore, and so I just decided to like do some meditative Yoda. Um, I was gonna try and talk like Yoda for a second as part of a dumb joke, but that's too much mental effort, so I'm not gonna do that. Um, but I did a lot of yoga and drank some tea and did a lot of meditation. And I realized doing that, or like rerouting my thoughts and thinking about it in a different way, turning it into something positive, really helped me. Because I don't want to, you're very right about taking note about your friend's emotional bandwidth and not using that, to an extent that it drags other people down, because it's very easy for negativity to bring positive people down, and it's very hard for positive people to bring negative people up. V Falcon says, I relate to feeling self-worth was contingent on having a partner too. Media/people are rough. Well, I'm glad you're at a point now where you don't feel that way, and where you have more self-value in yourself, because you deserve to feel that. Um, and I think we all go through that at some point in our lives. It's part of the journey of learning to love ourselves. Um, and that journey looks different for everybody. Um, and I feel really good about myself that I've learned to enjoy time by myself. Like, I'll take a whole day just to spend by myself, and it feels really good. Um, and also on the note of emotional bandwidth, what you had said, Vi Falcon, there's been times in the past where I used to lean too much on a partner for emotional support. But now I disperse that between friends, between my therapist, between, like I said, working on CBT and reframing thoughts. Like, I mentioned in a previous stream how my old boss had really upset me, and now instead of getting hung up on that, I reframe my thoughts to being like, you know what, I'm not these things she said about me. I'm these positive things, and I could start to feel good about being able to validate myself and not letting the negative things somebody said about me color my view of myself. So, retraining my brain and how I think has been very helpful for me. So I'm really glad that that you're at that point too. Um, and self-love practices, like I said, meditation, yoga, lighting a candle, practicing good hygiene, those are all things that really help. Uh, I got some of those from an Instagram post. It's like there's like two reasons I use Instagram. One of them is to talk to a friend, and two is these inspirational self-care quotes and posts. Um, also another question: do you constantly seek reassurance? Now, it's important for a partner to show you a healthy amount of support and praise, but when you constantly have to seek it, it's not healthy. Or do you feel responsible to fix all the problems in a relationship? It should be, an equal amount of both of you working together, not you meeting them 90-10. If you find yourself doing that, then what value do you have in yourself that you're willing to put in all this work for somebody who's not willing to put in the time for you? And I don't just mean that in a relationship, I mean that with friends too. Like, if you're spending all this time reaching out to a friend and reaching out to a friend and reaching out to a friend and you're not hearing back, it's okay to step back and let them reach out to you. Um, I mean I have a lot of friends that are very thankful for the fact that I reach out to them, but there's also friends where if I don't hear from them, it's like, okay, it's okay if I take a little break from reaching out or whatever. Um Magic Man 5174. I tell people that a lot as well. Hi Magic Man, how are you? Thanks for joining today. Yeah, you're very right. Valuing your self-worth enough to put in the amount of effort somebody else is putting in and not overextending yourself, that is a form of self-love and self-respect. Um, and also, another thing is if you'll do anything to hold on to a relationship, you know what I mean? If you're afraid to set boundaries, if you break your boundaries for another person, if there were times that in the past, I so badly wanted a relationship that I lost myself in the process and I molded myself to what I thought somebody else wanted me to be. And no one should ever need to put on an act to be with somebody. And not just in a relationship, but with anybody. You should never have to put on an act. I mean, if you're in a corporate environment, obviously there's masks everybody wears at work in order to keep the peace. But as far as in a romantic relationship or even in a friendship goes, you shouldn't have to wear a mask. Um, do you express your feelings and problems enough? Let's see. Actually, I have a friend, years ago. She was dating somebody, and she would always come to me about problems, that she had on dates. And, I would listen to her and hear her out, and we'd talk about it. But she would never talk to that person about it later. She would just hold on to that anger. And if you're not able to express your feelings to somebody, then you have to know that people can't read your mind or eventually figure out what they did wrong. I remember my mom and I got into a fight because I refused to talk to her about what I was upset about because I was convinced that she should just know what she did that upset me. This was years ago, and obviously I don't have that kind of negative relationship with my mom anymore, but um, but you can't expect anybody to be a mind reader. So, do you guys have that problem? Do you guys find yourself afraid to tell somebody how you feel or expecting people to read your mind? And now this is different from people who constantly shut you down when you do open up and express your feelings. If somebody's always shutting you down for expressing your feelings, then there is nothing that you can say to get them to listen. But if there's been times in the past where you've tried and tried and tried to express your feelings to somebody, uh, and they don't listen, there's really nothing you can do. However, if you've never taken the effort to express how you feel about something, and these problems are building up and building up, then that's on you to talk to them about it. Magic Man says not even a little. Um, as in, like, you don't expect people to like read your mind. You're very so Magic Man. You're saying that you're a good communicator, basically. Um, is that right? I should have got more water before this stream. Um, Also, commitment issues. If you have commitment issues, then you're not ready for a relationship. Do you have a fear of committing, and where does that stem from? Ask yourself, if you feel like you can't commit the time and energy into a relationship, then take extra time to yourself, not being in a relationship, and know that that's okay. Um, or if you feel like you can't commit because you have had a lot of hurt in the past and can't trust somebody, you would need to work on those trust issues first. Never assume that you'll work on yourself once you get into a relationship. I mean, you can grow in a relationship, but you need to be stable first. So those are how can you tell if you're ready? And we're going to talk about now how can you work to become ready and steps to take before getting out there. Magic Man says I've never had a problem expressing my thoughts, and I have no issue losing people if I must. I think that's great. I think that's great, Magic Man, that you're not afraid to lose people who shut you down for expressing how you feel. I try not to be an ass, but I always tell people my perspective, and I don't really sugarcoat it. And I think that's good too, because the people in your life, they deserve to be told as caringly as possible how you feel about something. And if they just ignore your feelings and put and only focus on their feelings, then you don't deserve to deal with that. So I'm really glad that you have enough self-love and self-respect to walk away from people or let people walk out if they don't treat you well. Um, Magic Man says, and I would hope they tell me if I need to be checked and honest about it. Yeah, Um, yeah, definitely. You want somebody to be able to communicate openly with you. If you are seeing somebody who has these issues where, they're afraid of commitment, they have trust issues, they can't open up to you, it seems like you're always wondering what they're thinking and they never really tell you, then maybe they're not ready for a relationship. Um, so I think that's great that you're at that point. Um, and so magic so you guys, I don't want to like single anybody out, but you guys in general, after hearing those things to tell if you're ready for a relationship, how do you feel about those things? Like, do you agree with them? Do you disagree with some things? Is there anything that you would like to elaborate on about them? I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Um and yeah, as far as like becoming ready to be in a relationship, um, there self-love is a huge part of it. And also knowing what you want. So I'm gonna get into some self-love tips, but first, as far as knowing what you want, my stepmom, soon to be stepmom, sent me this TikTok of this woman giving all this advice, and one of the things she said was write out everything you want in a partner, and know your worth enough to not settle for less than that. So, I wrote what I want to work on about myself. I wrote out things about myself that, you know, things that I looked for in a partner. Um, as far as things I wanted to work about myself, I wanted to be better with emotional regulation. You know, doing more meditation, getting better at calming myself down. And as far as looking for things in a partner, I wrote like I want somebody that's a good communicator, shares my beliefs and has similar interests that I could be myself around, is smart but not pretentious, no weird nail clipping habits, the huge. Um, but I had a lot of things like that basically where I wanted to know I could be my true self with somebody and that we shared the same core values and beliefs. Um, and also that I liked their family. I think that's important. So those are some things that I realized that were important to me. And it's different for everybody. You got to know what you want. Um, let's see. Chad Zilt says, I completely agree with all of that. Those are all very good points. Well, I'm really glad. And I love hearing that feedback too, that you guys like what I'm sharing with you guys because um, it lets me know that I'm doing a good job at curating good content to share with you guys. And I don't want to just rip off like psych to go like there. I got a lot of the tips on there, but also coloring it with my own experiences and advice people have gave me or things that I've learned along the way has really helped me too, or just things that people have told me. So I'm really glad that you guys are finding that helpful. Um, V Falcon says those are all good points. It's hard not to lose yourself in a relationship, especially in my opinion. Yeah, if you're with the right person, you won't feel like you have to change yourself, but you have to know who you are in order to not lose yourself, and you have to be confident in yourself and love yourself enough to not settle for less in that regard. If you feel like you have to um, put on a mask. Ploquette. Did I say your name right? Ploquette? How to have a good relationship. Also, first time chat from viewer. Hey, thanks so much for joining today. Um, yeah, we're talking about how to have a good relationship. And if you missed the beginning of the stream, there is a recording of this that'll be on my Twitch homepage, and it'll also be in the archive if you check the links. So earlier we just got done talking about how to know if you are ready for a relationship, how to get ready for a relationship, and we're still sort of on that part, and we're gonna dive into self-love because that is the most important part about preparing yourself to be ready to be in a relationship is learning to love yourself. So what do you think of that, Ploquette? And yeah, part of self-love I've learned is don't focus on the negatives in life. I said that using cognitive behavioral therapy to retrain my brain of turning something negative into something positive has been a huge help for me. If you focus too much on negative things, it makes them too important. Like venting doesn't really work after a while. It's good to think about it, but whenever it's controlling your life, it's like it's just not healthy. Um, Magic Man says, I'm honestly not a big relationship person. Okay. And I'm assuming by that you mean in the context of a romantic relationship, not just like friendships or connections with people. Um, correct me if I'm wrong. That's how I interpreted what you had said. Um, yes, romantic. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. So I'm curious. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts on that. What about that makes you, not interested in being in a relationship? Are you just happier being on your own? Or do you feel like you've had bad experiences that have deterred you from wanting to be in a relationship? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. um, ba ba ba. Oh, and oh, Ploquette, what is the difference between a romantic relationship and a normal relationship? That's a good fucking question. Um, A romantic relationship is somebody that you can see yourself building a future with. Um, like for instance, with friends, okay? I don't need friends to believe in the same things as me. Uh, if your ideologies or your political beliefs or whatever are different than me, I don't need you to believe in the same things as me to be my friend. As long as you treat me well and you treat me with respect, um, then then that's more of a friendship. But in order for me personally, it looks different for other people, but for me personally, a romantic relationship is somebody that I could see having a future with, who wants the same things in the future as me, who makes time for me. Because in a relationship, that is somebody you're going to spend more time with than just a friend. That is somebody that you have to make time with more than a friend. Um, and uh, if it's somebody you're going to be spending more time with, they have to click with you on more things. Um, So, what do you think of that answer, Ploquet? Do you agree with, or all of you guys actually, do you agree with what I said about the difference between a romantic relationship and a friendship? Or what's your, spicy take on the differences between the two? Magic Man says Ploquet romance. Friendship is a relationship. Business partners, you have a relationship. You have a relationship with your family. Yeah, those are all different types of relationships. Romance too, it's like you have to want the same amount of physical touch, be compatible sexually. If one person doesn't like cuddling but the other person, that's very important to them, how are you going to have a romantic relationship if you're too different in that aspect? If somebody has a much higher sex drive versus somebody who maybe is asexual, or not even asexual, maybe just doesn't have much of an interest in sex, no, neither person wants, nobody wants to be pressured into doing it, but the other person doesn't want to feel like they're sort of hung up to dry. So those are things to ask yourself, are we compatible in this way? I'm not saying asexual people can't have relationships in any means, or by any means. I'm just saying those are things to consider as far as your compatibility with a person. And how does each person feel about their differences? If you are okay with having some differences in that, that's okay. Is what you want is different than what I want or what Joe Schmo wants. Um, yeah, I think that's a Chad Zilch says, yeah, I think that's a pretty good explanation. I'm glad. Thank you, Chad. Magic Man says, but I'd like to be more stable in my life before I get into another serious relationship. I think that's really good. It's important to be self-sufficient and be stable, and know what you want, know what your goals are, have your own life outside of a relationship, have your hobbies. That's how you don't lose yourself in a relationship, because you have things that bring you happiness outside of the relationship, monetarily mostly. And I agree with that too. I think that's important to be able to support yourself. You don't want to depend on a partner. It's so often that I hear people wanting to get out of living with their parents, so they'll move in with a partner way before they're ready, and then they're stuck in a relationship that isn't good just because they are financially dependent on the on both people being able to afford rent. And then you're stuck in a lease with this person, and you're stuck in a relationship with this person. You don't want that. So that's good that you want to be, self-sufficient. Um, I'm really glad that I waited until I was able to move out on my own rather than moving in with a partner, because I definitely had that problem in college where I moved in with a partner and then didn't know where to live after that because I was 3 hours from my whole family, So I think that's good to. I'm glad you're at that point, or that you're at that point that you know that that's what you want before getting into a relationship. V Falcon says that was a good answer. I think a romantic relationship means life paths of the partner will converge in some way. Platonic relationships don't demand that. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad that you like that answer, and I think that is a good way to summarize that too. You're very right. Metric Man says I have a friend in that situation. I swear he dislikes this girl, but they have several assets together, so he can't just pack up and leave. Oh my god. Never, ever, 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 ever fucking. God, you could live your life however you want, but if I may just say some unsolicited advice that nobody asked for, please don't ever buy a house with somebody you're not married to. And if you get married, it please just be with that person for a long time, know that person for a long time before you get married. And be married for a while before you have kids, because that is the biggest fucking commitment. If you have a kid with somebody, that partner is going to be in your life for the rest of your fucking life. Like, I'm 28 years old and my parents are divorced and they still talk to each other. My mom still calls my dad, I mean, not so much now, but I remember when I was 20, my mom would still call my dad and be like, I found marijuana in her room. And my dad's going to be like, Teresa. I love my mom. Don't get me wrong, but even after I was 18, that commitment was still there. That conversation, that them talking, that was still there. And um, just wait before you have babies with somebody. That's all I'm saying. um, let's see. I had to stop chilling with him because of it, and that's terrible. That's terrible that you have. I have a friend in that situation too, where the relationship makes it hard for me to like come over. And I'm really sorry that you're in that situation. Their toxic relationship has really taken a toll on him, and now he's a miserable dude. Yeah, you can't let somebody drag you down. You can't let a partner suck the life out of you. I even had a coworker who said that he felt like, or at my last job, who felt like he lost his brother because his brother's wife was just terrible. So I'm sad I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that. She beats him. Oh my god, what the fuck? She beats him, stabbed him with keys, all kinds of crazy shit. I'll never understand him. I think abusive relationships, um, some people are scared to leave, because they're worried of what the partner will do to them. I'm not in their situation, so I don't really know what is going on between those two. But my heart does go out for people in abusive relationships, because I don't think it's not easy to just pack up and leave, especially if somebody is making you afraid to leave, or manipulating you into staying. My one friend, he wanted to break up with his girlfriend, and even though they pay a lease together, their name is both on the lease. She said, if you break up with me tonight, I'm kicking you out. And that's just emotional blackmail. That's forcing somebody to stay with you, or else saying you're going to be homeless if you break up with me tonight. And that's fucking horrible. I'm also worried he's going to lose it and black out on her. You mean like hit her back? I feel so bad that that's the situation that they're in. It's so toxic. People really can bring out the worst in each other if you're with the wrong person. Oh my god, excuse me. Oh yeah, she's done that. She's threatened to kill herself if she left too. Oh my god. That is the fucking worst. That is emotional blackmail. You can't do that to people. You can't say, if you don't blank, I'll blank. Um if you leave me, I'll hurt myself. If you leave me, I'll kill myself. Like, you can't do that. I think it's some form of sunk cost fallacy. Yeah, I actually just learned about sunk cost fallacy. I had heard about it before in terms of cost versus sum. But yeah, sunk cost fallacy. It's a rough situation. I know someone who recognizes they're in a toxic relationship but still stays in it because of how long their history is. Yeah, that's so terrible. You can't just keep sinking more time and effort and money or whatever into something or someone and expecting that it's going to get better. It's not. Um, I had a friend that I had to give this conversation to because she was friends with somebody for 10 years who just treated them badly. And she finally was able to pick things up and walk away. And I think that takes a lot of courage. Fee Falcon, yes, LOL. She absolutely knows he's in a toxic relationship. Says he's gonna leave her, then 2 days later back to normal for a week. Oh my god. Yes, that's exactly what's happening to me and my or to my two friends. Well, to my one friend. I was friends with the girlfriend, but it's just I can't handle the way she treats him anymore. I just can't, and I can't be friends with somebody who treats my friend that poorly. And um, yeah, it's just like that what you're describing, where you know, oh, we're gonna break up. Oh, we're deciding to work things out, and it's like, bro, what are you doing to yourself? Um, yeah. And a lot of that is when you don't value yourself, you don't love yourself. You have to talk to yourself like you would a friend. You know, um, you have to have a positive inner voice. If you're calling yourself names or whatever, or you're putting yourself down, that's how you're going to destroy your self-value, and that's why you're going to gravitate towards people who treat you like shit. You got to tell yourself, you're allowed to and deserve to go forward acknowledging a way to prevent such and such from happening again without putting yourself down for it. Um, I've been working, I worked for a long time on not calling myself names. Like, I told you guys that meme where it's like me calling myself a dumb bitch and then remembering I'm trying not to call myself mean names anymore. And it was like a screenshot that said, oops, we don't use that word on Barbie.com. So if I ever am like, oh, that was so dumb of me, I'll say like, oops, we don't use that word on Barbie.com. And I'm like rerouting that. And now that's not my go-to anymore to like put myself down. I have a positive inner voice now. And you need to be able to do that, or else you're gonna be stuck with, you're gonna just gravitate towards people who treat you like shit. Um, or if you had somebody growing up that would criticize you a lot, you got to remind yourself, when I would mess up, this person would say this about me. That's their words, not my own in my head. Um, Even writing down positive attributes you have, and not just saying, oh, I'm generous. You could say, anytime I know a friend is struggling, I stick my neck out and help them, and that makes me generous. Actually, I know it sounds silly, but literally write down your positive attributes and look at that to give yourself more self-confidence and more love for yourself. Um, I used to value myself based on how productive I was being, and then I started uh living by my own set of, like, personal commandments, if you will, and knowing that I live by those standards I've set for myself is a way that I give myself value, because I'm like, I honor my convictions. And here's reasons why I'm a good friend, because I do these things. And then in a bit, I'm going to check the comments, but in a bit, I'm going to talk about, are you compatible with this person? We might go a little over for the stream today, just heads up. Okay, I'm going to read the comments that I missed. Oh, Magic Man says, I was just going to say that. He lacks a lot of confidence. He always has, but he's never let a woman take advantage of him like this. Yeah, I think it makes sense that the longer that you lack the self-confidence, the more that you can get yourself into these situations. And that's horrible that he's gone down this rabbit hole of, like, this person continuing to treat him like this. Well, I can't even say she's taking full advantage because he knows better. And that's terrible too, because it's like he knows how he deserves to be treated and he keeps putting up with it. And it's painful to see friends go through that and be like, dude, just leave this person, and they don't. Um Chad Zilch says, I love that Barbie.com post. Right? I fucking live my life by that shit. I love that shit. Oh, excuse me. My God. Pharaoh City says, I think it's really crucial to remember that bit about treating ourselves as we would our friends. Exactly. I love that phrase. I was in a really toxic relationship as my last one, but stayed in it because I was afraid I wouldn't find anyone better. If a friend had been in the same situation that I was in my last relationship, I would have told them they needed to move on so long ago. Yeah. Yeah. It's weird looking back when you're like, wow, that really wasn't as good as I painted it to be in my head. It's weird looking back and realizing that that wasn't what you wanted or how you should have been treated. Um, or vice versa, looking back and seeing if you treated somebody else well. But it's good that it sounds, Pharaoh City, it sounds like you have uh, gotten to a point where you recognize that and that you know to treat yourself well so that that doesn't happen to you again. Um, and knowing as far as if you're compatible with somebody, you know, some red flags are if you're no longer being affectionate with each other, um, or also, I mean, do you take the time to flirt with each other, to send each other nice texts, in the day, like, hey, how are you, or thinking about you, or whatever cute things you want to send your partner? Do you still get those? Or if you guys won't be open with each other, or if you guys hide things from each other, you know. Another one is, if they always agree with you, because they might be not be telling you what's on their mind. I remember seeing somebody who was so afraid of me leaving them that they would just agree with everything. And I found out later there was stuff that they disagreed on, and I felt bad that they felt so pressured to go along with what I was saying. And I think that's important to date somebody who sees their own value too, because you deserve to be with somebody who recognizes their value and has confidence in themselves just as much as you deserve to have confidence in yourself. Um, da, 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 da. Magic Man says, I guess I'm lucky with the serious girlfriends I've had. I've only had two relationships last a year or longer, but they were both great people. It even ended very well for both, and we still talk every once in a while. Well, I think that's good that you are still able to talk and that the relationships ended amicably. And I think it is hard to be friends with somebody that you used to date, depending on the dynamic that you guys had. Um, and I think that's good that you still talk sometimes. Um, I a while back I messaged like the my first like real boyfriend, and we caught up a little bit, and it was nice, and it was like totally amicable, and it was nice to see how each other was doing. And I think if enough time has passed, because that was like over 10, 11, 12, 13 years ago, whatever, that it's like cool to just, you get to a point where you could put things in the past and it's not a big deal. But there's some people where it's okay if you can't be friends with them again. So I'm glad that you have that. Not saying I'm like super close with that person or anything, but it's nice to be amicable with people. Londonderry Danny says, I am here, I am late, I am here. Hey, what's up, Londonderry Danny? See, ever since yesterday's stream, now I'm gonna be thinking, oh, Danny boy. How are you doing, Danny? Um, we were just talking about how to know if you're ready to be in a relationship and how to prepare yourself to be in a relationship. So now we're talking about red flags with the person that you're dating. If you're not a priority to this person, if they're checking their phone all the time, if they're unenthused when you show them affection, or if their attention is divided, they're showing you that you're not a priority to them, and that's not fair to you. You deserve somebody who's going to give you their undivided attention whenever they're hanging out with you. And I'm not saying that they can't ever do something else while hanging out with you, but in general, it's important to make time for each other. I'm not saying you can never check your phone or take a moment to yourself or whatever, but as long as each person feels like they're being that their partner's being present in the moment, uh then that's what's important. um Another thing is, if you run away from fights, you don't want to just storm out. It's okay to say, hey, I need a little time to think. I'm going to think more about why I feel the way I do. But you don't want to just run away from fights or pretend everything's okay to keep the peace to avoid a fight. Um, Also, if you can't control your emotions, or if they can't control their emotions, um, if you find yourself not being able to control your emotions in a relationship, check out the stream with the um anger iceberg. It's the art therapy stream. That's a really good one to express your feelings. Um and or if the other person can't control their emotions, then that's not somebody that's good to be with. You should also be able to agree to disagree. It's okay to not agree on everything, as long as you both listen to each other. Um, but if you act like this person always has to agree with you constantly, and can never have their own thoughts on something, that's not healthy. Ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Londonderry Danny says, doing okay, doing okay. My brother said today that one reason I'm not ready for a relationship is because I don't want to have sex on the first date, and how that is puritanical. I'm mad because that is stupid. That is fucking stupid to say, that he said that to you. Like, not to be like judgmental of somebody I don't know, but like, that's really shitty of him to say that to you. Like, if anything, I think it's good to take things slow and get to know somebody. If you're going on a first date with somebody and you fuck them on the first date, one of you could feel more compelled to make things work out if you value that more. Or also, um, you don't know the value somebody sees in you. They could just be using you for sex. Or also, by abstaining sometimes, or in the earlier parts of the relationship, you can see how patient they are with that, and how they value your consent. You know, are they asking, hey, is this okay? Can I do this? Or whatever, feeling out the vibe. Or are you sort of, you know, declining their advances and they keep pushing themselves on you? Well, it's like, all right, that shows you that they don't value your consent. That isn't somebody you want to be with. So, in a way, like, getting to know somebody before you have sex with them, that's a really that there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's very arbitrary to assume, to say that you're not ready for a relationship because you don't want to do that. And yeah, what your brother said is very stupid. As somebody who tries not to yuck other people's yums, I will say that, for if that's how he feels, if he wants to fuck on the first date, whatever. But for him to like project that onto you and say you're not ready for a relationship because you won't do this, that's not okay. Nobody can tell you what you have to be ready for, or what you have to be comfortable with. Um, yeah, that's fine to have sex on the first date, but not for everyone. Exactly. You deserve autonomy, and nobody gets to tell you what your comfort level should be. You should be able to go at whatever pace you feel comfortable with. Um, Pharaoh City says, you bring up such a good point about people being able to find confidence and value in themselves. Well, I'm glad that you like that, and that's helpful. It's absolutely true. Magic Man says, no offense, but if a girl is putting out on a first date, that's a red flag to me. No, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna have sex, but it's a red flag for me. Um, yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, different strokes for different folks. And if that isn't something that you're looking for in a partner, somebody that like does that quickly, or moves at a pace faster than you're comfortable with, then yeah, then maybe you don't share the same values. Maybe you don't share the same pace that you're comfortable at going with. You should both There should be a mutual agreement as to how fast you're willing to move things. Um, I'm not going to judge somebody who, is, having sex on the first date or whatever, but, yeah, I think there's value in getting to know somebody first. Um, but, yeah, it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody. Let's see. Huh. V Falcon says, I used to feel like if something didn't happen on the first date, then it never would. But now I think I just didn't meet the right people, which is cool. Sometimes it takes a while. Yeah, somebody once told me that they read that if something romantic doesn't happen within the first so many hours, then it's not going to happen. Or, there's always people that are like, oh, I'm in the friend zone or whatever. And I think when you don't have expectations and things just happen organically and you're not forcing them to happen, that's a healthy route. You shouldn't have to force things to happen, or force a connection, or assume that something needs to happen at a certain pace in order for it to work out. So I'm glad that you're at that point. Another red flag, since Magic Man, you said about red flags. Another one is if they get jealous too easily. Do they prevent you from hanging out with friends of the same sex? Do I've heard couples where they're like, "Oh, I stopped talking to all the females I know," and I'm just like, "Holy shit!" Like, what? What kind of health? That's not a healthy relationship if somebody doesn't trust you, that they make you stop contact with all of your friends or not hang out with your friends. That's not healthy. You don't want to be in that. Um, you know, uh Also, do they make you second guess your feelings, or are they dismissive of you? I learned in therapy that your feelings are always valid. Um and you don't deserve to have somebody make you second guess if you're allowed to feel the way you do. Like I said about the Karen example, the McDonald's Karen example, it's like not uh if you're expressing your feelings calmly and respectfully, and somebody lashes out on you, it's not that they're not allowed to feel bad that you said something, but they can't lash out on you for that. But nobody should ever make you second guess your feelings if you are allowed to feel that way or are allowed to set a boundary. Nobody should make you second guess expressing that. Also, if they talk badly about other people in their past, and it's not to say, like, I one of the things I read was, oh, if they talk bad about their exes, and I think that the line with that is, um, how much blame do they put on themselves too? Like, I can look back and be like, okay, this person did this and it wasn't okay, but hey, I was a shitty girlfriend in these situations and in these past relationships, and I shouldn't have done this. But more often than not, if you hear somebody in general saying, this person did this and it was horrible, and this person did this and it was horrible, and this person did this and it was horrible, and they're never admitting any personal fault on their side, on their behalf, then that's definitely a red flag. Um, what do you guys think of that? Um, or also if you try to change each other, instead of, I mean, it's okay to learn and grow together, but you shouldn't try to change each other, change somebody's beliefs or anything like that. And then we're going to talk about how to work on things if you're fighting often. And if when that becomes a red flag. Reading your comments. Oh, Magic Man says, no, lol, I'd never do that. If her friends were that much of an issue, I'd probably just leave. Yeah, that's another thing, too, is if you don't like your significant your significant other's friends, that's a red flag. Because guess what? Your friends are an extension of you. The people that you make friends with are an extension of you. And if you know maybe somebody has like a friend that's not so great or whatever, but if you in general don't like their friends, don't like their group of friends, don't like the people that they talk to the most, um, then that's a red flag. You should like hanging out with their friends. You should like their social groups because their social groups become your social groups whenever you're in a relationship. Legendary Danny says, "Is what you're talking about jealousy or just handling jealousy poorly? I don't think jealousy is bad if you address it productively." Um, I'm not saying that. I'm trying to think the last time I felt like jealous in a relationship. Um, it's weird. Like there was one time where I had a friend over who was walking around in like jeans and like a lingerie top, and I didn't think anything of it, even though the guy I was dating at the time was there. And he actually said that he was uncomfortable with the fact that she did that, and I was like, oh, I guess I didn't realize. Or like she would say, love you, friend, to him, and he would tell me later, like, I wasn't comfortable with the fact that she said that, and I thought, like, oh, so I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to think of times where I was actually, like, jealous. Uh, I mean, I think the last time that I recall myself being jealous was whenever there was this guy that I liked, and he was dating me, but he was also seeing somebody else, and I felt it, and it wasn't a relationship. It was like that was the last time that I did feel jealousy. But in that instance, I was like, if this person really liked me, then they wouldn't be choosing this other person. So in situations where I liked a guy who liked me and another girl, I just stepped out of it, and it's like, you guys can be together. I'm not gonna be fighting for somebody. And that's how I think it should be. If you're so worried about somebody leaving you for somebody else or whatever, then yeah, that jealousy isn't healthy. You should have enough security in yourself, and you should have enough confidence and trust in your relationship to not worry about that. What do you guys think? Do you agree with that? Oh, snap. How did I come back, camera? I just look up and I'm just like in the bottom. No. Eh. I like even put tape on this to hold it secure. And I did not. Okay. Yay, I did it. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna read your comments while I fuck with this. Alright. I did it. Get a little Dora gif over here. We did it. Is what, oh, bu 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 bu. Legendary Danny says, jealousy can help you realize when others have what you want, and if you try to deal with that by working on yourself, it isn't so bad. If you try to deal with that by working on yourself, it isn't so bad. If you could try to control your partner because you're jealous, that is bad, if I understand jealousy correctly. I've been jealous of like not relationship stuff, but like whenever I felt like my life wasn't going well and somebody else was, there were times where I was like jealous. And I think that's more what you're talking about, is like far as what you want. But as far as a relationship goes, so when you say jealousy, are you talking about jealousy in general or jealousy in terms of a relationship? Because I want to make sure I understand what you mean. Um, it can even be good if you're honest about jealousy. Still moving a tiny bit. The camera? I moved it a little a second ago because I tried to point it down a little bit. Let me know if it still moves, because I think I got it. I don't know why it was doing that. Never mind, I think your camera is good now. Okay, thank you, V Falcon, for letting me know. um, let's see. But you shouldn't have to fight over your significant other. Oh wait, I missed one of your messages, Magic Man. Jealousy is a natural feeling, but like every emotion, it's how you handle it that matters. I think that's a great point. Because like we were saying before about feelings being valid, but it depends on how you take it out, how you react on those emotions. So yeah, very good point. But you're right, you shouldn't have to fight over your significant other. Maybe you're jealous of the attention your partner gives to someone of the gender they are attracted to. If you figure out what attracts them to this person, you can prove how your relationship is. That is an example. Actually, that's a that hmm. That was one of the things about red flags that I had read is like evaluate your sexual attraction to that person, to the person you're with. Likely your attraction to that person is what first like sparked things with you and that person. But if you find yourself, being repulsed by this person, being unattracted to them, whatever, then that relationship is not for the long haul. And if you're thinking about cheating or whatever, or if you find yourself being so attracted to somebody that you're going out of your way to give them more attention than your partner because you're attracted to them, that's not good. And when you say about giving the attention to another gender, I guess it's important to ask yourself, like, well, what kind of attention are you getting from your partner? And why isn't that enough? And what kind of attention is this partner giving to somebody of the opposite sex? Or same sex, I guess, if you're, not in a heterosexual couple. Um, I guess what I was thinking is you are jealous because they are attracted to somebody who is in decent shape and you're out of shape. It's not bad to be like, "Oh, I could take better care of myself. This is only true within limits." No, I kind of don't agree with that super much. Like, I think that if your partner is you shouldn't feel like you have to get in shape just to attract your partner. You The idea of ever exercising to look a certain way is super toxic. You should want to exercise cuz it's good for you. If you exercise because you're like, I'm going for this goal, it's like you're not enjoying the climb, you're just enjoying what you think is the view from the top. And if you have to go through all this extra effort to be more attractive to your partner, then ask yourself, is this person really worth it to me if I have to go through all this extra effort? Like, I never really wear makeup except for my streams and working. I wear baggy clothes. I mean, I still put effort into my appearance. I dye my hair, I cut my hair, have good hygiene. But I don't have to do all these extra things. And if I do do my hair and do nice things for myself, it's for me. It's not because I want the approval of somebody else. And if your self confidence is that bad that you have to do things just to get attention for your partner, then that's not a healthy relationship. Ba ba. Magic Man says, gotta go. Have a good night, everyone. See you later, Magic Man. Magic Man. Is that a song? Is that why I'm thinking of. Is that a song? Somebody tell me if Magic Man is a song. I feel like it is. Probably. Ba ba ba. Legendary Dan says true. V Falcon says, Night Magic Man, it's been good. I might take a second to grab some more water here in a minute. Legendary Danny says, if you really let yourself go, like hardcore, I don't think it's bad to be honest if your partner loses attraction to you. It's not a great truth, but I think there is some reality to it. Um, yeah, it's like weird, cause like, I get what you're saying. Like, I dated this guy who was, you know, not in like bad shape or anything. But like it wasn't just that like he gained a lot of weight. He also like wasn't showering or taking any care of himself and just like laying in bed all day. Like he wouldn't even like get up to go to the bathroom. He was like peeing in a bottle that he kept under his bed, and it's like, bro, everything about this is like not okay, man. Like you gotta like put in some effort of taking care of yourself. And I don't want to act like if you're out of shape, you're not attractive or anything like that. I can see what you're saying though. It's like you gotta like the fact that it's like if you know what I mean, like I get that where it's like this person that I dated like was taking care of himself in the beginning, and then it's like 2 weeks would go by and he wouldn't have showered, and it's like I'm not gonna be your parent and remind you to shower. Like this just isn't healthy. So like I get what you're saying. But yeah, I mean I think there's better ways to go about that, really. You should never tell your partner like, "Hey, you're getting too fat for me," because like I remember in college I was gaining some weight and a partner told me like, "Oh, you should like I said like, "Oh, I'm with my family. I'm by the pool. I'm eating some ice cream." And they were like, "I don't think you should be doing that cuz your stomach's coming out too far." And I like that really messed with me for a long time. I had really bad self-esteem issues because of that, and I stayed in that relationship because I didn't think I could get better, and I struggled a lot with eating disorders because I based that value of myself on what that other person said. And I think if you really uh, want if that, like, you could be like, hey, like, why don't we work out together to like be healthy, like, and you could say that before it gets to that point where you think that that person is like quote unquote letting themselves go, uh, or cook healthy food together. But if you get to a point where you tell like never if you really have to tell your partner to lose weight because you're not attracted to them, just don't be with them because that's not cool to put somebody else down. Just don't be with them, man. That's shitty. It's shitty to expect somebody to work out and do things because you want them to be more attractive to you. That's my spicy take. Yeah, losing attraction to your partner doesn't justify being controlling and shitty. That sucks that happened to you. Thanks. I mean, I'm okay now. Like, it is what it is. Hey, it was a good motivation for me to lose weight. I was kind of chubby, I guess, for a while, so, whatever. I just look at it like, hey, I learned how to eat healthy. I learned how to take care of myself, and I feel a lot more confident now that I lost weight. So I'm not going to get down about it now. But I'm just saying, I know what it's like to be on the other side of it, and it didn't feel good. Magic Man is a heart song, I think. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. Hawsey. Hey everyone, first time chat from viewer. Yo, what's up, Hawsey? How's it going? What do you think of the topic? How to have a good relationship? What do you think? Um, Also, how did you find the channel? If you're fighting often in a relationship, take note of how often you're fighting. It's not healthy to never fight, because that could mean you're holding on to things. But if you find yourself fighting to a degree that you're concerned about, ask yourself, or am I picking fights over inconsequential things? That could be a cry for attention or lashing out. It could be the sign of an end of a relationship. I remember dating somebody where we got into like a screaming match over whether a desk should be pushed flush into the corner or tilted sideways. I hate to admit it, but it did look better flushed in the corner, and I was wrong. But that was a sign that that wasn't a good relationship if we were fighting over stupid shit like that. And also, like I said, I was wrong. The desk looked better the way he said. But that was years and years ago. But that is something to be wary of. If there is a constant or high frequency of arguing, are you leaving arguments feeling angry or resentful or bitter? Or do you resolve them and feel better afterwards, Hazy says, I think it's important. I usually just search the mental health tag and look for someone who seems to be engaged with the chat. Oh, well, I'm really glad that you found the channel. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. Um, yeah, somebody a while back suggested I add the mental health tag to the stream, and I'm really glad I did because I think it brings a lot more people on, and that is what this channel's about. So I'm really glad you found us. Um, Legendary Danny says, I heard a good rule by some guy who studied marriages and their success rates. Apparently, he could predict a marriage's success rate by how many positive to negative interactions there were. I think 6 to 1 is like the minimum ratio for success, but of course, it could go up to 20 to 1 or more. Oh, it's so funny because years ago I read a thing that was like if it said like 3 to 1. And I remember like thinking about that while I was researching the stream, and I thought that sounds pretty fucking low. But 20 to 1 or 6 to 1, 6 to 1 being the minimum, or going up to 20 to 1, I think that makes sense. I really like that tip. That's cool. I could find his name. He's prominent, but I forget it currently. He was like 95% accurate in his predictions by this rule. Huh. Hazy says Gottman's principle, he talked a lot about a 5 to 1 ratio. Okay. There we go. That sounds like it. Okay. There are a ton of different studies through and in recommendation ratios. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm gonna write that down. I really like that note. I didn't even. That would have been a good thing to put in the stream. But I'm glad I could learn things from you guys. That's cool. So every 1 negative, you should have experienced 5 positive. Okay. No, I like that. Also, another thing as far as, recognizing if a relationship is working or not is how often do you talk about your feelings? Do you feel like your significant other doesn't understand your feelings, or that you're unaware of how your partner feels? Do you actually listen to each other when you talk? How do you talk about your future together? Have you ever talked about getting married, or if you want kids? Knowing this is essential. You know, I know with there was a show at Gretzko where this couple seemed like a really great couple, but they couldn't agree on whether or not marriage was a big deal. And Gretzko loved that bitch. She was like, "No, you know what? This is important to me, so I can't be in this relationship." And I thought that's really great that she values her convictions and knows what she wants. And she's not going to be in a relationship just because and sacrifice the things that there are no um what's the word? Um there's no way to meet in the middle on. There's a word for that. What is that word that I'm thinking of where it's like meeting in the middle? Uh fuck. All right, well if you guys think of it, let me know. There should also be ratios for compromise. Thank you. Thank you. Fuck. I was like, I thought it started with a C and I could not fucking think of it. Thank you. My God. um, there are also ratios for raising children if anyone's interested. Pretty helpful. I do think it's important not to overthink that side of things though. Can you tell me about what you mean about the ratios for raising children? Um, Legendary Danny says, I think I talk about feeling so much it turns women off. How do you express your feelings with people? If you're willing to like disclose that, I'm interested to hear like uh if you could share a little bit more about that so I understand a little bit better. Um let's see. Also, do you feel like one second. If you delay accepting a friend's wedding invitation because you don't know if you and your significant other will still be together, that's a warning sign. Is there a lack of verbal affection or a lack of compliments? Getting those little I love yous or random love notes or nice texts can be a sign. If you notice that you're not getting those, that can be a sign that a relationship is in trouble. What did we learn from the movie Ghost and that guy always saying ditto? What did we learn? If you guys haven't seen Ghost, go watch Ghost after this stream. Actually, I haven't seen it in so long that I don't actually remember if it's worth watching, but like go watch it anyway. um I feel like I'm just vulnerable in a way which isn't typically masculine, in that the women I've been dating may want more stereotypical man shit. I don't really know though. Um, well, I think that if you're with the right person, that they'll be comfortable with you expressing your feelings. You know what I mean? You shouldn't feel like you have to hide yourself. Posy, for instance, showing 5 positive emotions for every one negative. For example, if they do something they aren't supposed to, don't leave the situation in a negative or whatever. Okay, so like from what you're saying, basically, um, like say that a couple sort of gets into um a situation that they need to work something out, and then they work something out and they feel better afterwards. That so you're saying that wouldn't count as a negative, that would instead count as a positive because they took that situation and grew from it. Let me know what you think. Legendary Danny says, yeah, that's the idea, find the right person. Exactly. um Also, do you look forward to seeing them? Do you get excited and enjoy hanging out with them? Or are you often bored hanging out with your partner? Or do you dread seeing them? If you dread seeing your partner, that could be a sign that the relationship's coming to an end. Um, Also, sexual attraction towards them. We talked about that a little bit. We did touch on that. Is your sex life more of a chore, or is it something that you enjoy? That's something to think about. How do you talk about your significant other to friends? It's not bad to ask for advice from close friends from time to time, but notice how often you do that. Do you talk more positively about your partner, or do you talk more negatively? And how often are you going to these friends about advice versus, you know, being able to just work things out with your partner on your own? And then we're going to talk about signs your relationship is on a good path in a second here. Well, you asked me to elaborate on ratios for raising kids, so instead of always pointing out. Oh, okay. So instead of always pointing out the negative your child is doing, be sure to tell them when they do something positive. Oh, more often than the negative. Okay, I dig that. That makes a lot of sense. Um, so give me like 1 second. I'm just gonna walk to the sink and get some water, but then I'm gonna talk about ways to know that your relationship is on a good path. Since we talked about a lot of, red flags, we're gonna talk about green flags. And we're also gonna dive in to know if somebody's worth fighting for. Sometimes relationships can have rough patches, but it doesn't mean that a relationship is bad if they're still a person that is worth being with. So we're going to dive into those things. Hello, Ferret. Hello, Scout. You want to come and be on my stream? I'm bringing Scout in on the stream so you guys can say hello to my wonderful ferret, whom I love very much. Huh, Scout? Hello. I'm back. Look at this cute baby boy. Isn't he the greatest? He is. He is. That's the only answer to that. Even with your friends and family, though, a thanks for doing the dishes or whatever goes a long way. Oh, exactly. Why did you bonk your head on the mic? But yeah, absolutely. Doing things to show your appreciation. And that's another thing. Like, do you do a lot of things for your partner where they don't show appreciation? Um, That's also something, you know, if somebody takes, you don't want somebody that's going to take you for granted. Um, Legendary Danny, do you think relationships are supposed to be super easy at the start? Like that is the only route into one. I have heard a few people say that as a rule. Yes, I do. I think if you're struggling at the very beginning of a relationship, then how is it going to be, you know, a year, 2 years, 10 years down the road? You know, can you really see yourself in a future with that person where at the very beginning of a relationship you're already having problems? So yeah, I do agree with that. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Or do you have a different take? Signs that your relationship is on a good path. You make up after arguments. You, like I said, you appreciate each other, like what Hazi was saying. You see a future together. You balance housework. And you give each other personal space. You know, too much time together is not a good thing. It's good to have your hobbies, have your friends, have your alone time, be comfortable spending time with yourself. Instead of it's not good to spend all of your time with your partner. That's not healthy. You're not having your own life. That other person is becoming your life, and that's not good for you. So if you, like I said, make up after arguments, appreciate, see a future, balance housework, give each other personal space, those are all really good signs and signs that your relationship's on a good path. And then we're going to talk about how to establish a healthy relationship, how to establish it, and what can build an unhealthy foundation. Wow, I took a lot more notes than I meant to for this, but I was really excited about this topic because it's something I'm very interested in. Um, so yeah. Um, Depends on some people's tolerance for toxicity or whatever are all different. I know folks who go back and forth with cheating, whereas that's 100% always 100% game over, no second chance. Yeah, I'm with you there, Hazy. Never ever, I would never ever stay with a cheater. That's me personally. I don't understand how anybody would go back with a cheater, because it's just like, how are you ever going to trust that person ever again? You know, they've already broken your trust. That's like the most basic thing of your relationship is to not cheat. And it's like, if you can't even do that, I'm not talking about an open relationship or a poly relationship. I'm talking about if you have a monogamous relationship where both of you agreed to not see other people and that person went behind your back. It's like secrets and breaking trust destroy a relationship. And that's one thing where it's like, how can you go back to somebody who does that to you? That's my spicy take. I think those who go back with a cheater don't value themselves as much as they should. Yeah, I think you're totally right on that. I've heard success stories of being with cheaters. Well, one, but yeah, most end up bad. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I I know a friend whose parents, the dad cheated on the mom with the mom's sister, and they're still together to this day. But you know, there's that's not the only time cheating happened, and it's just like, you know, once there's cheating in a relationship, can you really trust that it's never going to happen again? You know, good on them for that one couple that was able to work it out, I guess. The one that you're talking about, Legendary Danny. V Falcon says, "Gotta head out. Thanks for the stream." Yeah, thanks so much for joining. And yeah, I guess it went on longer than I thought it would. But thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate you coming, and I really hope that you liked the stream tonight and found it helpful. And have a great night. Yeah. Let's see. Hazi says, I think it's possible to love others before yourself, but it's definitely a lot healthier and easier to love yourself first. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, definitely think there's some truth to that. Like, it's like, if you have kids, you're going to put your kids before yourself. If, if it's, my friend, he grew up poor, and his mom would make sure that her kids got to eat, whereas she was eating peanut butter and crackers in her room because she didn't want her kids to go hungry. And it's like, that makes sense that you would do that for your children. Um, but you have to love yourself the way that you love your kids. You have to you and I know we're talking about romantic relationships, but like a lot of times, like, a kid is your pride and joy. That's who you love the most in your life if you're a parent. And that's an instance I can think of where you would put them before yourself. Um, but uh, but loving yourself is still incredibly important, and you got to be there first before you get to that point. Like, if you're going to be a parent someday, you got to love yourself before you love somebody else that much. Um, that's my take. Let me know if you guys agree with that. I'd love to hear from you guys about that. Um, I don't have a whole lot left over. I'm gonna try and breeze through some of this. But how to have a healthy foundation? Oh wait. Oh, I didn't finish my notes on that part. Okay, well, what can build an unhealthy foundation? I guess if you want a healthy foundation, just don't do the things that build an unhealthy foundation. We'll just say that. You don't want to spend too much time together. You don't want to do everything together. Spend times with family, friends, yourself. If a friend invites you to something and you're always like, well, can boyfriend come? Can girlfriend come? It's like, that's not healthy. You need to have your time with just your friends. It's not a bad thing to invite your significant other to hang out with your friends at all. But if you're always like, "Hey, let's all hang out together. Let's all hang out together." It's like, that's not healthy to never have your time with just your friends. It's a different dynamic. Um if you aren't open to new experiences, if you never go on dates, if you just laze around watching TV all the time, um, don't let that happen in your relationship. Always be willing to try new things. Um, there's sometimes on, like, dating apps I've seen people be like, I just want somebody to watch TV with me. And that's the most depressing thing I've ever heard. If all you want in a partner is somebody to stare at a screen with, you need to really think about what you want in life, because you can't just have a relationship where all you do is stare at a screen. That's not actually being with each other. I'm going to reference Glass Animals, as everybody knows I fucking love that band. Usually I put something on TV so we never think about you and me. But today I see our reflections clearly in Hollywood laying on the screen. Okay, I could probably sing better than that, but I'm not going to try. I'm not going to subject you to that. But fucking, I think that's totally true. If you are a couple that all you do is you just lay around and you watch Netflix together and you don't actually take the time to talk to each other, or whenever you do, if the only positive interactions you do have are whenever you're staring at a screen, that's a red flag. Um, you know, um, we talked about the importance of communication. If you're afraid to tell your partner something because you're worried about getting mad at you, or if they're dismissive of your feelings, that shows emotional immaturity, and you don't want to be that. You don't want to be with somebody who nags or criticizes you. Um, so what do you think about those things? Do you agree that those build an unhealthy relationship? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Um, I think if you really have to nag somebody over and over again, you know, you also have to ask yourself, is this person willing to put in the effort of getting things done with you, taking responsibility for the house chores with you, things like that. But if if you're nagging somebody every 2 seconds, it's a balancing act, um it's not healthy if there's somebody in the relationship constantly telling the other person to do all these things. um and you want that person to have their own agency. So what do you think about that, you guys, about like nagging and things like that? Also, as far as how to solve problems in a relationship, you can know a relationship, if a relationship does hit a, quote unquote rough patch, Um, if this person makes you happy, or you can talk to them about anything, or you love spending time with them, and you could be yourself around with them, you can agree to disagree, you share the same core values, you help each other grow, you have all these positive attributes, and sometimes maybe there's something you don't see eye to eye on, and you need to work something out. That's okay if you need to work on some things time to time, as long as you have those important core uh, things in your relationship that bind you together. So, uh, what do you guys think about all this so far? I really would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the stream so far. If you felt like it's helpful, if you look at your relationships in the past, does this ring true as far as what could have been better? If you look at your current relationships, are you questioning if it's a good match, or are you thinking, wow, actually this is going really well because these all check out? Or are you noticing things that you could improve? I'd love to hear from you guys your thoughts on that. Um, but yeah, problem solving should be easy. If it seems difficult more often than not, watch out. You want to establish a good dynamic off the bat. Express when you feel unheard, or you're feeling some type of way about something. Make sure they're appreciative of you off the bat. Because if they don't appreciate you from the get go, much like Danny, you were saying, you want the relationship to be good from the start, not have to work to make it good from the start. I mean, you still have to do things that are work, but it shouldn't feel like work. Um, and if you find things are getting tough, like I said, give each other space, try new things, show affection, acknowledge each other's feelings. Don't just say, I was just joking. That is the worst thing you could say to your partner, because you want to take what they're saying and feeling seriously. Um, and let's see. Honestly, honesty, effort. Oh, wait. I missed Chad's comment. 1 second. I'm about to wrap up here in a second, by the way. Chad Zilch says, I'm not one for romantic relationships, but I think this is all very valuable info and spot on. Oh, well, I'm really glad that this is helpful. And that's what I was hoping, is that even if somebody's not dating somebody or in the dating scene, that this would still be helpful. And I think that this is going to be a great lead into next week's stream on how to be a good friend. Also, what are your guys' thoughts on next week's stream as far as like how to be a good friend goes? What do you think of that topic? And in what ways do you feel that differs, my God, from being in a relationship? I know we talked a little bit about friendship and romance, but as far as the effort that goes into friendships versus effort that goes into relationships, I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Hazy says, honesty, effort, and communication are extremely great things to start a relation with. Definitely, definitely. You're completely right about that. I would definitely say those are very core things for a relationship, is that you can be honest and you put in effort and you're able to talk openly without fear of being judged. Yeah. Londonderry Danny says, rock star topic. Hell yeah. Pharaoh City says, I'm really excited about the possibility of that being a topic. And Chad Zilch says, that's a cool topic for sure. Thanks so much, guys. I love hearing your guys' feedback about, the stream topics. That was suggested by, Liberace. Liberace also suggested this topic. Coincidentally, I was already thinking of making this week's stream already, and she was like, "Can you do a stream on how to have a good relationship?" And I was like, well, it just so happens. But she also, big shout out to Liberace. She asked me to do a stream on on how to be a good friend. So, yeah, I'm so glad you guys are looking forward to that. And if you sub to me, you guys, anybody who subs will always get like a priority as far as the consideration I'll put into picking what you request for a topic. If there's anything you guys do want to see as a topic, hit me up. Let me know. I'd love to hear any topic ideas you have. I'm always very receptive to them, of course. So yeah, let me know. Talk about your dad's chili. I am not allowed to do that, sir. You know that that is forbidden. I am forbidden from sharing that. However, maybe one of these days, if I have some chili, I can taste test it on screen for you and give you my my analysis as to how good it is. I'll rate it. Is it good? You know what? I'll be fucking honest. I don't even remember my dad having a world famous chili. And you know what? I should tell him that. I don't even remember him ever making chili. He's touting about his world famous chili. I'm his daughter and I didn't even know about his chili. And I'm not afraid if he watches this stream and finds me say that because right? Thanks, legendary Danny. Couple more things I'm gonna let you guys know. If you guys are having issues, remember, don't interrupt each other and think before you speak. Use I statements, not just, don't use you statements like you do this, you do this. You say, oh, I feel this way when this happens. If you're really in deep, you've been in a relationship for years and years and years, and it's been a good relationship, and you're married, and then maybe you start running into some problems. Couples therapy might be an option, but if you're in the beginning of a relationship and you're having trouble, just think to yourself, what's things going to be like down the line? Am I going to have to keep paying somebody to fix things for me? Or, you should generally be able to work things out without difficulty, at least at the, at the large chunk of the beginning of the relationship, if you're in it for the long haul. But yeah, that's my take on all of that. I think, yeah. I think in general you should have good enough communication skills where you don't need a mediator. But that's my personal opinion. What do you guys think? If a couple needs to go to couples therapy, do you think that couple is worth being together still? That's gonna be my last question of the night, unless you guys have any topic ideas. I'll write those down. But if you guys have any opinions on people going to couples therapy, if that really works or whatever, let me know. Why not? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know a lot of couples that have been to couples therapy. I don't really know any because I guess it doesn't really get talked about. So I don't really know. But I mean, that's a good point. Why not? Yeah. Who knows? It's stigmatized. You know what? You're right. You're right. I shouldn't have talked some shit just there, because it's like, if it's okay to go to therapy, it should be okay to go to couples therapy. You're right. You're right. It is stigmatized. Egg on my face. Egg on my face. You're right. Good fucking point, Danny. I like that. I like having some of my ideas challenged and hearing your guys' perspective, because I don't have all the answers. I don't know anything or everything. I know, I like to think I know some things, but I definitely don't know everything. So I really love hearing your guys' perspectives on stuff. I think if they are both, Pharaoh City says, I think if they are both mature enough to identify that they have problems with their relationship and seek to solve problems, then I think that's really good. It'll be a hard journey, but I applaud the effort. I dig that. I dig that, Pharaoh City. That's a good point. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for sticking around today, for hearing all this stuff. Real quick, the last stream I uploaded, the one of me and my dad, I went back and listened to it and I realized the volume levels were kind of funky, where my dad sounded really quiet and I sounded loud as fuck. So next time we do an interview, if the volumes sound off, let me know. I'm going to have my friend try to edit the audio of that stream and equalize it a bit and see if I can get my dad's volume up a little bit and my volume to be, matching his. I'm going to do that after the stream, try to get that set up. Chad Zilch says, thank you for streaming. Thank you for coming and watching, and I appreciate the appreciation. Look at that. Thank you so much, all of you guys. I really appreciate you showing up. You guys mean a lot to me, and I love doing this. Legendary Danny says, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys. Love y'all so much. I really appreciate the continued support, and I will see you next week. Have a good night, everyone. Yeah, for sure. Have a good night. Peace out. Peace. Scout, are you here to say goodbye? He might be here with me. No, just kidding. All right. Well, bye. Chad Zilch says, have a good night, everyone. Thanks, Chad. See ya.